found him this morning is we tracked him on foot. So we found where he dragged a baby kudu across the road, and we walked in, but before we found the kudu, and I think that could be mom, still hanging around the area where the baby was taken. Aaron's wondering, will we give this guy a name if he sticks around? Most definitely. I think Vim and I have already got our vote in for a name. Ghost or Spoogle, something like that. But it seems like most ghost stories, we're busy uncracking the mysteries at the moment. We found what distance he's comfortable at, and if we go any further, I still think he'll move off again. So it's just really wonderful to be able to look at him. There's a beautiful bit of golden light coming through on his chops. Now, if we come out a bit for him, so the kill is there, under that thicket right there. So apparently there's already a leopard in the Sabi Scans called Spago. And he's the son of the white-cloth female from Mala Mala, but apparently he's further south these days. So, I don't know, we'll just go with Ghost then, Liam. It's unlikely he's going to hang around if he is around 4 or 5 years old. I think Mr. Tingana might chase him. But fortunately for him, Mr. Tingana is near the boundary. So Joan, hi Joan, who's in Washington, would like to know, how long have I worked at habituating animals? Oof, a long time, Joan. So I was lucky enough when I was younger, I was present during the habituation of lions and leopards, or leopards in particular in Zululand, at a place called Pinda. And then in northern Botswana, we went and took over a hunting area and started photographic safaris there. So a lot of the cats were quite skittish. I think the biggest challenge then after that I faced has possibly been in Zambia and in Tanzania, in areas where they hadn't even seen vehicles, let alone people, for years and years and years. So he's obviously had some contact with people. In some of the areas I've worked, this is even way too close to a leopard. You can see he's actually quite far away, and they run at even the slightest noise. But at night, it's generally easier. But I said, probably the best way I've found is if you find a drag mark and you find a kill. I'd often come just leave an empty vehicle with the old BBC news radio playing. So there's just constant talking, and at night the animal would come relax. We'd probably leave it about this distance, actually. And slowly but surely you habituate them like that. The best is always to find a female with cubs, and you habituate the cubs and then they habituate their mom. Cubs are much easier. Older leopards, once they get older, they are quite already nervous animals. They rely on camouflage. So anything they're slightly unsure of, like us, when it's an adult, it's better in their mind for them to just get out of dodge, so to speak. But I'm sure this guy must have had some, maybe not a lot. And some leopards are just more relaxed than others. You can have a leopard that was born to a Sabi Sands female and viewed from when it was 2 months old and reaches adulthood and just decides it doesn't like cars and runs away from them. can see his general body language now is a lot more relaxed than we first arrived. And even though I am talking quite a bit louder than I was, he doesn't seem too perturbed, more irritated by the flies than anything else. So sometimes these things are just, it's a very slow, gradual process, and you don't want to rush it. So Kat in Tampa is wondering how far away is Tingana from the ghost. Well, Tingana is right at the access gate, all the last tracks of him. So as the crow flies, what do you think, Vim? 3 Ks, 3.5 kilometers? Somewhere around there. Look, he's going to get up. Maybe he's moving back towards the kill. You can see a far more calm walk than the one we had earlier. Now, this is probably one of the most important points now. He's just popping his head over to see if we're doing anything, and that's what I'm talking about. To not start the car, to not move now. Even if he lies down where we can't see him, which he's going to, just... So really, there he goes, his tail's still there. He's laid down in that thicket there. I can just see his tail flicking. You see that, Vim? Mm-hmm. And this is very important that we don't move the car now. Don't start the car. Don't go any closer. Don't put any more pressure. So I'm hoping he will move back to where that carcass is. He's probably just moved like any other leopard would move to get away from the flies. And I don't think, judging from that behavior, the way he walked, it was anything to do with us. So we're going to sit here, and this is really important now that we don't start the car and don't move, just not give him any negative connotations with movement. So if you start moving every time a nervous leopard moves, he immediately associates that with something troublesome. But he's still there. I can just see his tail flick every now and then. So we're going to sit here for a bit longer. But isn't this a wonderful sunset safari where we can go from one big cat to another?
Safari at all. You've arrived just at the right time. These two showing a little bit of bonding between lionesses, and in fact I think you've arrived, never mind, I was about to say I think you've arrived at the perfect time for them to get up and start moving. Oh, there we go. That's what I thought was going to happen. Both of them demonstrating a little bit of restlessness. Her reason is fairly apparent for that desire to get up, at least showing more motivation than the Styx female that we saw a couple of days ago, in that she did at least move in order to perform bodily functions. Nevertheless, she was showing lots of signs of yawning, licking her paws, and then licking the other female, and that almost always precedes a movement from the lionesses or lions. Bless you, girl. And I think here we go. Oh, I'm so glad we arrived when we did. They're hungry lionesses, and they're going to be on the move. 2 Nkuhuma females, missing the other 3, and probably at some point tonight aiming to reunite with the rest of them. We did get a report that at least some of the Nkuhumas were on Manyeleti, so the property to the north of Buffelshoek, which is to the north of our boundary. I'm sorry, just bear with me one moment. Ephraim's trying to get hold of me. Go ahead, Ephraim. It's just me at the moment. It looks like they're going to get mobile north. That's affirmative, but I'll keep you updated if this Mufuzzy lies down again. Okay, copy. All right, I'm going to take a gamble here and say before this lioness, and you can see how she's washing her paws, how she's yawning. I'm going to take a gamble and say that she's about to get up as well, and that I'm going to aim to get ahead of her by looping around on this game path that we followed all this morning to try and get around to the other side. I just have to do some dodging of some trees. I'm fairly certain she's going to move. Oh, sorry, Dave. Have a silver cluster leaf. Cool. Everybody watch your heads. I'm just going to duck for now. I want to see which way she decides to go. Hello, girl. Now that is one intimidating stare. Deborah, our armchair traveler, it's an absolute pleasure. Deborah's just saying that she's had a wonderful sunset safari and would like to thank everyone at WildEarth. Speaking for everyone at WildEarth, it is always a pleasure to have you on board and enjoy these really wonderful experiences. There's nothing we enjoy more than bringing you these moments. And yes, absolutely, a new leopard, elephants, and now lionesses on the move. She's staring off intently to the west. I wonder what she's heard. I think she heard a voice saying, "Lie down again." That's apparently what she heard. Here comes the second lioness to join her. I can't reposition right now just because I don't want to startle her. Okay, she's all right. They're still yawning, still showing signs of restlessness, so they are going to keep moving. I don't think this is a very long stop. We've just got to get... There we go. Now, there is a chance we could lose them in this block. Which way is the wind blowing, Dave? That's going to be very important in about 2 seconds. All right. Once they move out of our view, it's going to be very tricky to follow them. We are going to, however. It's just going to involve a bit of looping around. And while we do that, let's head back over to Brent.
So guys, we're still sitting. We haven't moved an inch, as not to scare that guy off. I have seen his tail flick a few times. And what we do is maybe it is getting dark. The killer's still on the ground. So I'm just going to drive very slowly past. And then if we do get one last glimpse, wonderful. Other than that, I'm going to zone this area so no one else comes here, especially with him being skittish and especially with that kill on the ground. very important. Let the car run. Don't move straight away. Now, he definitely heard that. He's definitely probably watching us. So we want to keep all our movements very fluid, very slow. So we just, even if I do see him, I'm not going to stop. I'm just going to carry on past. Okay, I can see him, but we're not going to stop. He's crouched down a little bit low. Actually, he's looking okay. Now, again, it's all reading every situation slightly differently. It is a bit darker. He might be a little bit more relaxed now. I'm just going to go. You got him there. Forward, rather. A little bit more. Yep. Rolling. Okay, maybe we can get a screenshot of his face now. We're a little bit closer. It could be the darkness. It could be the fact that we've just sat there quietly. We haven't put pressure. We haven't tried to off-road up to him. And he is looking a lot more relaxed. Look at that. He's lying flat. This is incredible. And a little bit of patience pays off so much with an animal like this. And Vicky says, this is amazing being able to watch the habituation of a new leopard. Thank you very much for including us. Well, Vicky, it's my pleasure. And it's nice to actually see animals that aren't relaxed, because a lot of people often assume that you just drive around and the leopards sort of lie next to the road and they're very easy to find. But there has been a lot of work beforehand to get them to that stage. So we're now probably 40 meters, maybe even a little bit less from him. Now, the fact that he's lying down with his head on the ground and he's not constantly staring at us is a huge, huge positive. But we're still going to sit here for a little bit longer while we can before it gets dark. But Jamie's got some lions on their way straight towards her.
Lions just walked right past the vehicle and on their way down the road. Walking straight into the sunset. One of them with a slight limp at the back. Can't quite work out exactly where she's limping from. Oh, so Franklin's just got her serious right. How awesome is this? Too beautiful for words. Now, once they get a little bit further ahead, we'll be able to loop around them and just go across to the front. I just want to give somebody else a chance to view this incredible sight of their tails swinging in harmony. Beautiful. All right, let's go back over to Brent.
So I know it's not the best visual of a leopard, but it is for me, it's an absolutely fantastic visual. The fact that he's laid down flat, he's not nearly as perturbed with our presence as he was a bit earlier. And while we've been sitting here, I've been slowly speaking a little bit louder and a little bit louder, just to get him used to the sound of a human voice and realize there's no threat. You can see he's more concerned with the biting flies. There we go, he popped his head up for a second there just to check where we were. And then popped his head down. It's still difficult for me to give an exact age. I mean, I haven't seen him nice and out in the open, but I'm still sticking with my, I'd say he's between 4 and 5. You can see him battling with those flies there. So Marianne has put a very great point in here. Would I collect his scat for the Panthera project on leopard lineages? Most definitely, Marianne. And I actually plan to come, oh, look at that. I plan to come back once he's moved off and finished that carcass, because I'm sure there will be some scat close by, and definitely collect that scat. And I will hand that in. Let me just... try and move forward a little bit. Oh, look at that. Chasing the flies. But while we stay with this leopard, Jamie's lions are on the stalk.
Okay, so things have changed completely. The lioness is going into stalk mode. Look at what they've spotted. An impala herd completely unaware of their presence. Distracted by the rutting, they're chasing each other around. But they haven't realized that the lions are here. In fact, they're running towards the lions. You can see them dashing about. They're distracted. Look at this coordination. Now the lioness in the front is probably going to initiate the chase. The other might stay here. And now it becomes a question of patience and a waiting game. We're going to stay exactly where we are. We've got a perfect view. And only when they set off will we move. I don't see the impala anymore. I'm not sure where they've moved to. But for now it seems that the lioness are content to wait a little bit for their chance. There's the impala springing in the back. For now, the action has died down. Let's go back for our last few moments with that wonderful leopard, and we'll be back with these lions if anything changes.
So we're going to have one last look at this guy just before dark. And He's lying down so flat we can barely see him. You can just see those rosettes. There he is. So, one last look. We'll definitely come check in this area first thing tomorrow morning, but hopefully he hasn't lost his carcass, so he's decided to put it in a tree. So we're going to leave him be and see what other wonders are out there. While we do that, let's go back to Jamie and the lions.
Here we go. The lions carefully watching the impala still. There is another vehicle coming to join the sighting. We're still going to stay exactly where we are. Happy with our position for now. Impala is still completely unaware at the back. I can see the flashes of white as their tails twitch. This is where lions and leopards demonstrate one of their strongest qualities, which is patience. The wind for them at the moment is perfect. And the impala, look at them, they're so distracted at the back there. The young ram's starting to rut. All you can see is flashes of white. I know that the sun is starting to go down. Unfortunately, we can't move any closer, or we can't illuminate any further. Oh, yes we can. Got one more. Perfect, thank you, Dave. Now, most of our regular viewers will know this, but for new viewers, when we have a hunt like this, as it starts to get dark, we do not shine on the lions, and that's for a couple of reasons. One, it could illuminate them so that the prey spots them. Two, it could be distracting for both. And three, it could actually accidentally act to detract from the night vision of the impala or whatever they happen to be hunting. Now, the brief flashes that you are seeing from the guests' cameras, I know that you can see them illuminating them, for now will not make any kind of a difference. But once it does start to get completely dark, you'll notice that none of us will shine lights on these hunting lionesses. They seem to have settled for now. I don't think that they're going to go rushing off on any mad pursuits just yet. I'm amazed that these lionesses have been or have got active as soon as they have. It has been another blisteringly hot afternoon, surprisingly so for this time in March. But at least the bush now is starting to carry that proper African scent of a summer's night that I've been missing over the last few months, since we have so lacked in rain. The sun has now set, and I believe that the lionesses are going to wait until it is completely dark before they make their move. As you know, lionesses, or lions in general, are ambush predators. They want to conduct the hunt when it's a bit cooler and without having to chase for enormous distances if they can help it. They don't have much in the way of stamina. Impala can outrun them, and they can continue to run for longer than the lionesses can. They're almost hamstrung by their bulk and by their strength. But you can hear the happy scrub robin singing away, and the odd-crested francolin. There is a certain incredible silence that descends as night falls. That's going to be their game. They are going to wait until it is completely dark. Now, Snoop, just as I was talking about the fact that it is going to get darker and that the lionesses are waiting for it to get dark, you're wondering about why lionesses only succeed 20% of the time. And the answer to that is because of that ambush situation that I spoke of. Just by the way, they're no longer actually actively hunting. So the presence of the vehicles is not doing any damage to their hunting capacity. They are going to wait it out until it's a little bit darker. But Snoop, that's one of the reasons why, is that they are more built for short-based sprints. Pretty much every animal, every prey species here is capable of outrunning a lion and has greater stamina. But lions will give up as soon as they realize that they've been spotted too soon for the chase to be successful. They will actively give up on the chase rather than waste the energy and risk the overheating that they could be exposed to. And as you can see, the lions are now resting completely, so they're not going to go dashing off after the impala. As soon as they do show any signs of stalking, then those lights will go off. That is such a beautiful image. And speaking about the Nkuhuma lionesses, oh, there's the wind. They need that wind. Isn't this image incredible, though? Look at them looking up at the moths above their head. James has said, hopefully the Nkuhuma that runs like a cheetah is here. That's a wonderful comparison. That was with James a couple of mornings ago when the Nkuhumas were hunting wildebeest. And we just hear James shouting, "She's running like a cheetah, look at her, she's running like a cheetah." It was such an incredible sighting. And he was so excited, and I could see exactly what he meant. She was stretching out full, the sort of full length of her body. Oh, yawning again. Might be time to be up and about. See the spider webs blowing in the wind as well. So I said that this is the kind of wind that they want. I mean that the noise of the wind, as well as it's blowing the scent of them away from the prey that they're hunting, will give them a tremendous advantage as they head out hunting. Another big yawn. They might be thinking of getting moving. And Godfrey was wondering, on the subject of the sense of smell and the wind that is blowing, he was wondering if they can smell the impala. They might have been able to initially. Oh, such big yawns. That's time to get up. Godfrey was wondering if the lions could smell the impala. Yes, they might have been able to initially. I don't think they can anymore, though. The wind has very much changed direction. But I think, quite honestly, Godfrey, that they saw them before anything else. Slowly inching forward in increments. Errol, it's an absolute pleasure. Errol is one of our new viewers and is just saying how much he's enjoying this website and that he cannot believe that he's only just found it. Brent, I'm glad that you've jumped on board. I'm sure our regular viewers would be more than happy to, or maybe they wouldn't know where to begin, updating you on all that has transpired over the last few years. It's certainly taken me a few months to catch up with the history that has been recorded here. Another big yawn. She's going to get up next. Depending on what she does, or what the lionesses do from this vantage point, that will determine whether or not I decide to move forward in any way. If they get up and start walking casually down the middle of the road, then we will follow them. If they are up and starting to stalk slowly, then we will wait. So for now, I'm right at the back, but behind two vehicles. So I'm not going to, just to show you where I am, I haven't taken my spotlight out. I'm not using it for now, for a couple of different reasons. But at the moment, one spotlight is perfectly sufficient. So that will just determine how we approach the sighting from now. Is there the actions and what they do next. At the moment, though, I think they're going to stay lying down for at least another few minutes. The wind has changed, and you can actually see, maybe you can see from the leaves blowing, that it's blowing the lion's scent straight towards the impala. Sheehan, that's not a silly comment at all. Sheehan has said that she finds it amazing how similar their behavior is to house cats. Copy F. I'm going to move back so you can come out. We're just going to move backwards a little bit. Sorry, Sheehan. You were just talking about how similar their behavior is to that of domestic cats. Making space for one of the vehicles to pull out. So she's not silly at all. They can be very similar. Their body language can be incredibly similar to domestic cats. Just want to make sure Ephraim's not going to clip the side of our car. Just giving him a light on which to base his judgment.
Thanks very much.
No problem. Enjoy.
See you in the morning.
Cheers, guys. Enjoy.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. But yes, they can be incredibly like domestic cats. Okay, we can go forward again. In the way that they move, the way that they clean themselves, the way that they yawn, all of those can be so similar to the body language that we associate from our domestic animals. I know that it is really dark, but we are just going to sit here and watch what's happening and watch what they decide to do. But Lala's grandchild is watching for the very first time, and she was just saying that she really hopes she could stomach a kill. Well, don't worry, we'll warn you if there's anything that's going to happen, and you can decide if maybe you just want to turn away for a little while and then come back to watching when it's all over. A lot of people just aren't very happy about watching kills. That's perfectly fine. They can be exceptionally difficult to watch. So just there's no shame in just turning away. It's all part of nature, and we do show it as part of bringing you a real reflection of life out here. But there's no shame in turning off the screen when you can't handle watching something die. Lala, apparently your granddaughter's name is Sarah. Well, welcome, Sarah. I hope you are really enjoying yourself. And I'm speaking nice and softly so that I don't disturb these lions when they decide what they're going to do, if they're going to go out and hunt. The wind's still whistling through the trees and still blowing in complete... Sorry, I'm not quite sure who's... Trying to listen to... Hold on one second. I think somebody was trying to call me, but it got a little bit distorted. Look at that beautiful sky. If they show any sign of moving, I have to wait this out. It's an exercise in patience and tranquility. I can't hear anything from the impala. I'm not even sure if they're still where we last saw them or if they've moved off a little bit. The other possibility, of course, is that Nkuhuma could have come walking down the road. His tracks were just a little bit to the north of where we've seen them. I don't think so, though. I think he's going to continue west towards Simbambili. I could be completely wrong, though. But he was also... Okay, she's up. Let's just see what she does. I can barely see in this darkness. Here we go. She doesn't look like she's stalking. Squinting. Perhaps I should eat more carrots or whatever it is that gives you the power to see at night. Very much struggling. She looks like, okay, she is lying down in the middle of the road. I can't actually shine on them without shining on Taxon's guest. There they are. Okay, we're turning off, sorry. I know it's just gone completely black, but we're just only shining a little bit at the time. Oh. They have picked a main road to decide to operate their hunt on. And that is not, in fact, a game drive vehicle. Although the one behind it might be. Oh dear. Ladies, not a good place to decide to conduct your hunt. The main access road. we're going to pull off the road completely. We're actually going to back up completely. I'll ask Taxon to keep us updated on the sighting. Let's just get out of everybody's way. This is going to be interesting, though. We have a standoff here between a non-game drive car on their way home in from the gate, which is not but 500 meters away, and some lioness. Hello. All right, we're going to shift away. We're going to give everybody some space to get through. While we do, let's head over to Brent.
Look at that elephant silhouette in the sunset. Well, the sun's already set, but just in that late afternoon glow. Isn't that gorgeous? And seeing how they melt away. There's this beautiful big herd all over Quarantine, and VM and I are just sitting here in the dark, enjoying some time with them, the sounds. And there's that all around us, actually behind us and in front of us. You can't really see all of them, but if I pop my little sidelight on, there we go. You can see one there. Isn't this amazing? And this wind's picked up out of nowhere. You know, this eddy's coming a bit closer to us. We are waiting for another one to move onto that sort of horizon so we can get that incredible silhouette again. But there's this wind that's picked up out of nowhere. There's not a cloud in the sky, but there's this really hot wind. You can sort of see it on the tree there. But these elephants are still incredibly relaxed. Hey, little boy. What a fantastic evening so far. Lions, leopards, elephants, and obviously for me, the excitement of a new leopard. Maybe we'll move. Off he goes. Being a proper little boy. You can just make out another one there. Turn the lights off. The silhouette in the sunset. Now, we were hoping that they were going to walk a little bit further through the sunset. There we go, just like that. Isn't it great when a plan comes together? Absolutely majestic. Now moving through towards a bush. Is it going to stop to feed, or is it going to walk into that really big open area that we were planning for? No, I'm going to stop for a feed. We are incredibly lucky to live in a place like this, surrounded by Africa's great beasties. You can see the wind. See the wind howling through those trees on Quarantine. There we go, them. Perfect timing. That's the one we were looking for, moving out through that slightly more open patch. And with everything out in the bush, a little bit of patience really pays off. Absolutely exquisite. Now, we might get lucky if we move a little bit further to the north. As they move across Quarantine, we might catch them silhouetted under those big marula trees. Make sure there's there's no elephants still behind us. Nope, they've moved off. Last thing we want to do is give them a fright. So I'm not going to turn my lights on. And just going to try get the last bit of this incredible silhouette before it gets too dark to see. Now again, there's another really awesome sort of open area just past where they are now. So while we sit here quietly with the Ellies, let's go see what the lions are up to.
I'm afraid we should actually move forward in the dark. I'm going to have to be in the dark. The lionesses are now moving down the road, very much in stalking mode. So they are hunting. We're going to go forward a little bit just because they have gone very, very far ahead of us in the road. And I'm straining my eyes to see. Pardon? I'll let you know. I'm going to tell Dave when to switch our presenter light off. They're lying down again in the road. And we're just illuminating with a quick flash of light, or at least taxis ahead of me. Dave's going to take my presenter light off now. I know you can't see exactly where they are and what they're doing, but they are just a little bit ahead of us. So we're just going to have to sit in the dark and listen. And maybe watch that stunning sky as we do. I'm not sure if you can hear the wind gusting about me. This is how lions hunt. 20 meters at a time, and then lie down for 15 minutes. And then maybe another 10, maybe another 20 meters, and then lie down again. Slow and steady and very, very careful is their approach. Beyond that, I cannot tell you anything more about where they are or if they moved. It's now too dark even for my eyes to pick out the vaguest of their shapes. The other vehicle, the poor other vehicle that decided that they wanted to get home from Gowrie Gate has had to relocate themselves and go in a different direction. So for now, it's just us and the night sounds and that cricket that is somewhere to the left of us. This is where the night starts to play tricks on you. And you start imagining all kinds of sights and sounds while you sit and you wait in complete darkness. It's a very strange sensation. I mean, I think what I'm looking at is a lion. It might also be a tree, for all I know. Is just a darker shade of black on black in the night. All right, I promise to keep you updated. Let's find out what's happening on Brent's side.
So we're still sitting with these ellies, and I'm just going to show you quickly. They're right next to us. We've just... Oh, it's the guy with the floppy ear. Hello, mister. So we don't... Sometimes ellies don't like lights. Vim and I have just really been sitting in the dark, just listening to them. It is a really special thing. You hear them as they move through. Let me kill this completely. And they were making some wonderful rumblings. And of course, they've gone quiet now. The wind is picking up again. Let's just move a skosh forward. There's quite a few of them still here, all around us. You just see them despairing off into the darkness. As I said, we're not going to put any light directly on them. And you can see the wind is gusting away, which is good if you're in Nkuhuma. Good hunting weather. Make things a little bit easier to catch. But I don't think these eddies... Here we go, Vian's trying to show you one there. Are going to be up to too much. So I think we're going to move on and see if we can find anything else out on the edge of quarantine. There's my big spotlight. There it is. Oh, there's another elephant. They're just all over the place. That's a bigger bull. Hello, mister. Let's make sure it's not a naughty elephant. No, I don't think it's the naughty elephant. Oh. No, not naughty elephant. Oh, another elephant. Well, everywhere we look is elephants. Well, at least there's a scrub hare as well. You can see, even though he's not facing us, his ears, watch how they pivot and move to catch any potential sound around him. And then you can see his fluffy white tail just popping out. Goodbye, Mr. Scrub Hare. So maybe that African civet's around, or maybe the serval that Jamie and VM found the other night. Anything is possible out here in the African bush. So Heidi in Switzerland is wondering if I've noticed that some of the birds have left or migrated north. Yes, Heidi, I mean, the barn swallows are gone. I haven't seen a European roller in a day or two. So I think quite a few of them are left. There's the odd woodlands kingfisher still around, and the European beavers are still around. But a lot of the others have already departed. Now, we have those, more ellies. Lots of elephants everywhere today. So those birds that migrate through to Europe, now during the winter months we get some seasonal migrants from the Drakensberg mountains that we look off in the distance. So you'll get some of the birds, as it gets really cold up in the mountains, will migrate down to the lowveld. Of course, not that far, and they're not long-distance migrants, just seasonal migrants. The correct term is altitudinal migrants is what I'm looking for. And so we do get a few species, not too many in the Sabi Sands, generally a bit closer to the mountains and to the middle veldt, as they call it. Certain robin species, and that will actually move down from the higher areas where it gets very cold. So, Deborah, the armchair traveler, says, isn't it amazing how you can sit in the dark and be surrounded by such massive animals and only see them when you turn the lights on, and how something so big can be so stealthy? It is incredible. It's one of the things I like about them. And they can be so quiet, or they can be the noisiest animal in the bush with trumpets, screams, roars, rumbles, all sorts of fanfare. Thank you, Valeria, for such a wonderful comment. Valeria says, thank you, Brent and Jamie. You're so respectful of the animals, and we love it. Well, thank you for watching, Valeria, and thank you for your support. There's a car coming. I was going to find a spot to just pull over for them. Oh, no, they're going, I think, where I was planning on going. But anyway, I think they're heading home towards the western edge. I'm going in search of that serval that was seen a few nights ago. I think that's Aubrey on his way home. Viam says it was around here, so we've come to have a look. You never know. I've seen serval in this exact spot as well, or a little bit further up the road. And hopefully in the dry season we will see a few more of such creatures. Who knows, maybe even the first caracal on LiveSafari. Okay, so now we're heading into the open area where that serval was last seen. Let's slow it up a little bit and have a look. serval are great eaters of rodents, one of their favorite foods. They also are great hunters of birds, and it is incredible if you ever get to see a serval stalk after a rodent. They in the long grass, they literally leap, jump, very, very incredible, wonderful animals. It was here, have you? Hi, John Crawford, who's a new viewer. Lovely to have such a bunch of new viewers on board with us over this weekend and into this week. John would like to know, how does one become a safari guide? Well, John, lots of different ways and means, and you can either do an apprenticeship at a safari lodge, and then they might take you on their training course. There are training courses that you can pay for, and then you do placements or work experience, and then depending, sometimes the work experience will take you on afterwards, other times not. It depends. There's lots of different types of safari guiding. I mean, from what we do through to driving a large vehicle through Kruger with lots of people on the back. So it all depends on where and what you want to do, and I suggest If you have a look online, you'll have a look. There's lots of different game rangers courses or safari guide courses available, and some are better than